Okay, we shall continue now. You see, even the spelling is important, a comma is important, every punctuation marks, they have their own duties. They clarify sentence structure, words and grouping others, that's what we had seen, and semicolons, and they have their own work. And now columns, I said the Kipling's poem, if so, if this is there, it is maybe a definition or scientific statement of a person. So we have to understand. So on seeing that, we have to understand whether the word says there or not, it is there. Whether the word said is there or not, it's there. So we have to understand. That double quotation mark means that is a statement told by some person. So inside that we should not make any change. That's the meaning. So, and even on columns, where to use and where not to use, there are steps we have to learn. And the next slide you see, it goes like this. A column is used to introduce a list elaboration of what was said in previous part or formal expression of a rule or principle. I told you, that would be a scientific statement of a person. That may be a rule or principle. Newton says every force has its opposite force. So I'm not a science person, but you see, there we use a column. There we use column. So when you introduce a list elaboration of what was said in the previous part, for example, Rudyard Kipling says his previous part. After the colon, what we write is the remaining part of the expression of the rule or principle told by him. Here an example you see, of course, I wrote Corona. The list includes problems created by Corona. Of course, based on MLA handbook only, I wrote this, because in MLA handbook they gave some other word. So simply I made a slight statement in that and wrote, Congress passed the bill and the president signed it into law. That was the statement they used. And you see, I'll read the sentence given in the book. The reading list includes 3 Latin American novels, The Death of American Crush, 100 Years of Solitude, and The Greenhouse, some 3 books. So based on that, I made a change in this. The list includes problems created by Corona, the death, the joblessness, and economic issues. This is only list. Here, this Corona is not a person, and it is not giving us any statement. But when assuming it as a person, the consequences of Corona, exactly, the consequences of Corona, the death, the joblessness, the economic issues, so many, where we use this column. And in the next example, you see, the plot is composed on deception. You see, the plot is composed on deception. 3 main characters have 7 different characters is the statement given there, and several identities. So only one part is here and remaining is given here. It may be a rule, it may be a principle, or it may be a very ordinary matter like this. So even while using colon, There is purpose. Even a single line, the space, what we give between words is so important. We have to learn. We have to learn. Unnecessarily not putting comma, not putting a capital letter and write as we please is not permitted, because capital letter means that is name of a place or that is name of a person. You cannot put double quotation to show the importance of a word, because when you put double quotation, that means that is a statement told by some person. You cannot put single quotation somewhere there as you please, because when you put a single quotation, that is the name of a newspaper, that is the name of a work. So that is meaning. That is meaning. We have to understand. So even when conductor blows a whistle, only one sound if he is making, we understand he wants the vehicle to be stopped. We understand he wants the vehicle to be stopped. While he is blowing his whistle for seconds, 2 times, 3 times, we understand he wants the bus to go. So even on those sounds, there is difference. The driver understands and moves his vehicle in the same way we do. So even when we were discussing plagiarism, I wanted to tell you many things, because you see, you people and many of us, we think what is there, not like that. For example, if I'm a carpenter, I want to perch a nail on the wall. I'm not a carpenter. I use a hammer and somehow I strike on its head and perch the nail on the wall. Somehow it gets bent and it is not fixed exactly. So since it gets bent, I strike like this and pluck it away. Then I do one thing. What I do? I just keep it on a metal piece and beat on its back and I straighten it. After straightening it, again I fix the same nail on the wall and strike on its head. Somehow it is fixed. And I hang a calendar or a key or something there. You see, that nail is not strong now. That is not strong now. That was bent and straightened and used again. If again I strike like this, it will break. So even in the research, while we are making finishing, we have to do like the exact carpenter. And we just strike on that. If it didn't come out well and you repaired and then again you fix, that is not strong. That is not good finishing. So some defect is there. If you hang a thing which is weighter than the normal one, it will break and fall down. So when there are plagiarized works, when there are that kind of poor works, poor references, poor things, and even the mechanics of writing, if it is maintained very poorly, that's all, that will spoil all your work. So we have to use rightly. We have to learn to use them rightly. And next one, and the same one. Colon is used to introduce a quotation that is independent from the structure of main sentence. Of course, you may see here, structure of main sentence is this. She is not one of us, she is not like us. She is not one of us, she is not like us. The awakening, Rettingly exhort Robert LeBron to stop flirting with Etna. This title. It is used, there is a quotation that is independent from the structure. That is independent from the structure of the main sentence. Like this. This is independent. This can be used separately. This can be used separately even when that will give meaning. Even on such places, we have to use colons, that is the meaning. Even on such places, we have to use colon, that's the meaning. So, you see, I mean, mechanics of writing, that is aspects of writing, that is scholarly writing, where we use punctuation marks, spelling, italics, capital words, names of persons, or any other things. They have their own purpose and they have their own work. So we have to understand things and should remind things, then should use appropriately. Otherwise, we would commit a mistake there. So one after another, we are seeing it. Then in the columns, now we had seen this, and next one, dashes and parentheses. You see, dash and parenthesis. What is a parenthesis? Parenthesis, that is bracket. Dash, if you type the hyphen for 2 times, it is automatically becomes dash. For example, you look at the screen, I type the hyphen. For example, you look at there, I typed hyphen. You see, after 2, I typed 2 times the hyphen, then typed a word like this. That's all. Automatically, when the space bar is pressed, it changes into dash like this. It changes into dash. So in MLA handbook, even that is given. You must not select the underlining one and should underline. That is underscore. For dash, dash is little longer than hyphen. Dash is little longer than hyphen. Dashes and parentheses are sharper than commas in making a break. We use a comma to give a small gap in the sentences. As I said, the consequences of corona are, we stop there, death, we stop joblessness and economical issues. So to make that stop, we use comma. The dash is even more sharper. It is little sharper than that. It is sharper than the comma. So it means it gives a clear-cut gap. And type in second sentence, as I show you on the screen, type 2 hyphens without any space in your word processor to create a dash. When you type like that, a dash comes. So we must not select the underscore or underlining 1 or 2 like that, because that will show you while they evaluate that. Parentheses and third point is parentheses and dashes are used to enclose a sentence element that interrupt a series of thought. Parentheses, this is the parenthesis bracket. The parentheses and dashes are used to enclose a sentence element that interrupt a series of thought. And you see, this is making an interruption in the series of thought. Of course, it gives some explanation, some clarity. In research, we have to understand. You see, look at the screen now. This is a bracket, is it? This is a bracket. And there is another one, this bracket. Have you seen? And there is another one, this bracket. First one is like a curve. Second one is square bracket. And third one is this bracket. See, all the three, they have difference there is the usage is different. The usage is different. If you use this one, that is used for a purpose. Square bracket used for a purpose. This bracket used for a purpose. Like in mathematics, in set language, when you write, you use this. In set language or matrix, when you write, you use this. That is a kind of bracket. All the three are not same. There is difference. Of course, in the forthcoming chapters we are going to read this. I will explain you there in detail. So these parentheses have some purpose in using. They are sharper than a comma. They are sharper than a comma. A dash is sharper than a comma. There is purpose. Next sentence, the dashes and parentheses to shade off a parenthetical element with comma, and that might be misread if set off with commas. Actually, this is not with commas, with commas. For example, is this the colors of the costume: blue, scarlet. You see, I used only one space here. Without giving any space, I typed there. So the computer shows it's a mistake. When it is set right, it says this is right. So even computer teaches us to identify certain mistakes. The color of the costume, even this is American spelling, not British one. The colors of the costume, blue, scarlet and yellow, acquire symbolic meaning in the story. Symbolic meaning in the story. You see the purpose of this dash. If a comma is given there instead of a dash, that is only a little gap it is creating. When we use a dash, that is creating a sharper one, a longer one. A sharper one, a longer one. Of course, and there is no other purpose. And there is no other purpose. So you may not confuse yourself, because this is like dash comes, what does it mean? Is there, it is a continuity, like in etc., where we put dots like this, it means etc. No, not like that. No such a thing here. And next one, dashes and parentheses itself. Use a dash to introduce words. Use a dash to introduce words that summarize a preceding series. Summarize a preceding series. Look at the example. Ruthlessness and acute sensitivity, greed and compassion. The first part, there are some words used, and this is summarizing or explaining the words introduced already, are given already. Ruthlessness and acute sensitivity, greed and compassion. The main characters, possessive actually, main characters, contradictory qualities prevent any simple interpretation of the film. And here a small explanation is given. A dash may be used instead of a colon, where we use colon for giving scientific statements or definitions of persons. There also we can use colon in some exceptions, but not on everything. So not on everywhere. And only hyphen is there. With hyphen I will stop today. With hyphen I will stop today, because in the next we can't finish it in one session. There may be 2 more sessions on this. A hyphen is used like this. Words of all types, nouns, verbs, adjectives and so on are written as separate words. Here you see blackboard, we write separately, it gives meaning. It's a compound word. Hard work we write separately, it gives meaning. In some words we use hyphen like this, hyphenated words. For short-tempered, we use a hyphenated word. And in some compound words, we use like this also. Classroom, we use them both altogether. That gives meaning. Screwdriver, we use altogether, it gives meaning. So where we have to use and where we use in places only where it requires like this. Only where we require like this. Two totally different words are fused together. There we use. So see the difference between the three. You see the difference between the three. Here we need not use, and here also we need not use. On both the things we need not use. And next, the state of the art, short-tempered, there we use. And examples, scholar, athletics. The second one, I'm sorry. Hyphen is used to join co-equal nouns. Hyphen is used to join co-equal nouns. What is a co-equal nouns? A scholar is a researcher. An athlete is a person who runs in the ground. If we unite such equal, co-equal words, there you can use. A writer is a person who writes. A critic is a person who criticizes. Two different fields and two different big people. When such a thing is used together, co-equal, for that we use this hyphen. Of course, both persons are same, that is the meaning. The author chef is an author as well as a chef who could cook very good. So that is author chef. So in such places we have to use. And next one is see this. See this hyphen is used in a compound adjective. Compound adjective beginning with an adverb such as better, best, ill, lawyer, little, or well when the adjective precedes a noun. Sir, how to find out compound adjective? How to find out compound adjective, sir? An adjective is a word which qualifies noun. For example, so and so is a beautiful girl. The beautiful is adjective and it qualifies the girl. And what is compound adjective, sir? You listen here, I'll tell you. Well prepared is a compound word, no? Well prepared. A well prepared teacher is a compound word. The first one is an adjective. For example, if it is a blackboard, black is adjective. Whiteboard, white is adjective. First one. This boy, this is adjective actually. So that is they are doing the function of adjective. So this boy, this girl, well-known person is well is an adjective. Ill-informed reporter, ill is an adjective. Lawyer Bryce Edison, lawyer is adjective. Neatly dressed lady, neatly is at an adjective, that is an adverb. So maybe this also will change as even in books there are some mistakes. You see, well-dressed lady, well-dressed lady. So this is an adjective. So if in compound words, first word is an adjective. Even if neatly is used, that will function as adjective only. So the compound words, first words, they function as adjectives, and there we use hyphens. And next, this one. And hyphen is used in a compound adjective. Just now we had seen. And that too with present participle or with past participle. You see the screen clearly. The two with the present participle and with the past participle. Pleasure loving boy. Pleasure loving boy. There is a participle. Here you see teacher inspired person. Teacher inspired person. So present participle or past participle like this to separate that compound adjective. There you can use hyphen. There you can use hyphen. There you can use hyphen, there you should use hyphen. And next one, hyphen is used in a compound adjectives. Hyphen is used in compound adjectives formed by a number and a noun when an adjective precedes a noun. You see this example, you will understand. 13th century monument or 13th century, 19th century architect or 19th century architecture or monuments, anything like that. When it is used, compound adjectives formed by a number and a noun when an adjective precedes a noun. Here 19th century, if you use it as a compound word, 19th is adjective only. If it is preceding by a noun, early like this, there we use hyphens. There we use hyphens. And in the next one, a hyphen is used compound adjectives before nouns to prevent misreading. Portuguese language student. What is the meaning? This hyphen gives us he is a Portuguese student who study language. That's the meaning. And he is not a Portuguese language student. Portuguese is a language. That doesn't mean Portuguese. He is a Portuguese, but a language student. That's the meaning. If you read it continuously, the meaning is changed. Portuguese language student means that is Portuguese language student who studies Portuguese, not the language what we mean, the target language, not that. So on that case, we can use a hyphen. So next one, sir, where not to use? That list goes for 2 pages. Where not to use? See this list. Do not use a hyphen. When compound adjectives comes after the noun, it modifies. You see the example. The chief was better prepared. Chief was better prepared than the other speakers. So here there comes a verb and the chief and the better prepared. It is only 2 words too, not like a well prepared professor like word. Only 2. And on this case, not necessary to use a hyphen there. Not necessary. And also we should not use. Do not use a hyphen in a compound adjective beginning with an adverb ending in ly. For example, thoughtfully, clearly, like that. Thoughtfully presented session, too hasty judgment, very interesting story, much confused stage. The last slide you see, do not use hyphens in familiar unhyphenated compound items. Do not use hyphens in familiar unhyphenated compound items such as social security. For that is a well-known hyphenated word. High school is a well-known one. So there we need not use and differentiate because it is already known. Do not use a hyphen in pair of nouns in which the first one modifies a second one. Opera lover, father figure. Some examples. In general, do not use hyphens after prefixes like this. Like this. Qualified. If you write unqualified, you add them and write, don't put a hyphen between un and qualified. Ill treat, not ill hyphen then treat, not like that. So we have to write like this. Anti-war, overpay, semi-retired, like this. So learn to use the hyphens like this. Of course, there are several other mechanics of writing we have to see in the forthcoming classes. I'll teach you in the next session. Of course, this is a long one. You understand clearly. If necessary, when we close it at the end of the sessions, again, I will review them.